What's going on, everyone? Colonel Cottonbelt here, and man, has it been a while since I've done a video. And come to think of it, normally in the month of January I always do like a 20 the year review slideshow. So I am going to get to that in a minute, but I'm also going to go ahead and give you a layout tour. Some of the stuff that I've kind of been working on, there's been some troubleshooting on some items, and just kind of show you what I'm having to fix, because I have found problems since then too that's kind of put me in a model railroading funk, but I'm slowly trying to work my way through them. Plus the bathroom remodel that has really taken a lot of my time away. So before I do the layout update, let's go ahead and see everything I did for the year of 2025. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed seeing everything that I did over the last year, and my apologies for getting it out late. But we're going to start over here in staging, just kind of work our way throughout the whole layout. If you notice, staging is pretty empty, and that is because, well, you'll see here in a little bit. But if you noticed, we got the backdrop taken down, and we got the valance that goes up here at the top. It's taken out as well, and it's going to be kind of hard for me to get to because I got stuff in the way. Oh, that's because that curved ladder, 2 turnouts, ended up, one of the points has broken off the solder joint, so the turnouts will not switch correctly. So that's one of the things I've been working on. I did get the furthest one fixed, but just to kind of tell you, you know, I'm like 220, 230 pounds, and I have to climb up here, and this section of layout is only 12 inches wide between the wall and the trees. So there's not a lot of space there to play with. I have broken a few trees. You can see those laying there on the pond at the moment. I will have to look at getting those fixed once I get it. So what I'm doing as far as operations go, when the local returns, I just been returning it on the balloon loop instead of sending it into staging. So, which you can see the local back there behind the sawmill. I did find a company that does have the proper logging crane. I've been in email talks with them. I'm hoping they will work with me because they only offer the crane to purchase with either a wrecking ball or a shovel. They do have the logging claw, but they're not offering it with the crane, even though on the website that they do. So I'm waiting to see what they say on that. One of the things that I had to do, if you notice, the piping has been taken off. Well, that's because I had a car derail way back there, right up under that signal, and it was actually a caboose. And when I went to grab it, the smokestack caught a few of those telegram lines and ripped them off. So I've got those half-assed fixed for the time being. But I can at least run a train and there is no interference with cables. So for those that have not seen the layout before, this is the Cascade Milling and Lumber Company. There are 3 spurs here. This is scenery in progress. This is the area that I am going to be doing my NMRA scenery certificate. But over here at the dock, that's where they would load box cars with lumber or flat car with really long lumber if needed. Over here you can see the log car that would actually be pushed further down the track. And then of course the wood chip filler, which right now there's no wood chip car spotted. But hopefully that will change, and actually in my era, gondolas were even used to haul wood chips. In this open spot here, we're going to actually have an industry. I did have the Riceland grain elevator, and so I've got a story about that I'll mention here in a minute because we'll get to it here in a little bit. But I'm going to be putting in a different grain elevator that fits my era a little more precisely. It's not going to be called Riceland. It'll actually be called something else. And I will get to that here in a little bit. All right, now we're approaching the town of Wiener. And even though this is not fully scenic, tell me that is not a cool shot. And no, I do not have a gimbal for those wondering about the shaky hands. But hey, if you want to go bowling, you can go bowl at Blue Ball Lanes. Just make sure that you use a blue ball. And then of course we got Homer's Donuts. So the guy who actually did Homer's Donuts, and he did some of the other buildings on my layout. He did this one here too. The Shack-A-Sit Furniture Company showroom. And he did the building. I did some extra detailing on it, but the little depot there, that's actually a 3D print from Jimmy over at DIY and Digital. But my friend John actually painted it, and I added all the people and characters, but he painted it for me. And he painted this building as well. But he did Homer's Donuts as well, and he's the one that's actually doing that other grain elevator because he enjoys doing some of the buildings. Moving on, this is going to be kind of a farm scene. Here's my scratch-built barn, storage barn. It's got some mini prints on there, like the cow skull and the weather vane on the top. But this will be a farm scene. And I've got a few buildings just kind of sitting up here in the way right now, and you'll see why here in a little bit. So the Riceland grain elevator, comes to find out it is too modern for my era. So the grain elevator would have said Riceland Rice on it, but not in the blue with the big block letters like that. It would be a little different. I am going to do a Riceland Rice grain elevator elsewhere on the layout, but this elevator here is probably going to be up for sale in the near future. Alright, moving. Of course, you can see some of my NMRA certificates back there as well. Alright, moving around. This is the town of Hickory Ridge. I've got my AccuTrack 2 speedometer just kind of sitting there, but we have the Passmore Gas Company. So they receive tank cars and bottle it and then sell it. And then I'm going to have to do some walking around because I have a lot of stuff in here. But we'll get over here to these buildings. And then, of course, the next one up, we got Budweiser with a Miller Engineering animated sign. I do not have the layout on right now. And then this is the Shack-A-Sit Furniture Company. So I've got this little building here. It's already sold. I got a friend that wants it, but I bought the Hardwood Furniture Company so that way I can make a bigger version of it. So it's the same building, but this is a backdrop version. That one I'm going to take some of the extra walls to make that building just a little bigger. I don't need a bigger loading dock area. I just want to take some of the walls and flatten them up against the backdrop to make the building look and appear a little bigger than it actually is. Project I've been working on, this is going to be a business car. This is going to be the Traveler. You can see that I have painted the inside, I've detailed the inside, I've added the valance here on the back. And if I turn it around, so this is a Broadway Limited that I'm doing a whole bunch of extra stuff on. And if you're wondering why the shell's not on there, eventually you'll see why. But I added some people there. So this is the Broadway Limited 2025 version of the business car. And so I wanted to get the interiors painted, get some people put in, and then of course I got this back piece done as well. But the main shell has been taken off for the time being because it has been going under paint and, well, mainly paint. And like I said, we'll get to that here in a little bit. We just got a small scale house with the scale track. I'll have to do some weathering on that building. Not there yet. This is a locomotive facility. I'll do something a little better, but there's its fuel tank right there. And that, right now, I don't know. I was thinking about using the Razorback Leasing Corporation with a RBZX or RZBX reporting marks. Right now they're just borrowing the Cotton Belt locomotive. But I had a friend give me a car for Christmas that's got its own custom reporting marks to it, and I don't know, I'm considering about maybe using that because I do have an undecorated Shea locomotive that's going to be servicing this area, but I haven't fully decided what I'm going to do. All right, the last industry. This is an ITLA modular kit that has been kit bashed. I don't know if it really constitutes a scratch build, But it has been kit bashed. I still got a lot of detailing and stuff to do on this building as well. But this will actually hold 4 cars, 2 under the dock, and then it can hold up to 2 more inside, which I think there's only 1. Yeah, there's only 1 right now. But it can hold 2 in there. And then, of course, back is the cleaning track, and I'm going to use that Brickworks storage building. I'll have to kit bash it, and that's going to be for that. All right, moving around, we're going to be at the town of Brinkley. So this is the interchange between the Cotton Belt and the Rock Island. So we have a 4-track interchange yard. Each track is for a specific outbound train. So the Cotton Belt runs 2 locals, the Rock Island runs 1 local, and you're probably thinking, well, hey, that's 3 trains. Why do you have 4 tracks? The 4th track, so all of the industries here that we'll get to in a minute, is switched out by the Rock Island, and that 4th track is reserved for any cars that the Cotton Belt drops off to go to any of these industries, so that way it doesn't completely fill the Rock Island's track. So really the Rock Island gets 2 tracks, but track 3 is for the Rock Island to take back to its staging track, which is North Little Rock, Little Rock, and then track 4 is for the industry. So the first one, we're going to have a team track. So you can see I got this team track scene here. That's when I was at the Oklahoma City Train Show, hanging out with Steve Childers, Grandpa Rails, Jack. Trying to see, Robert Flying Crow was there as well. So it was us 5. And then, of course, ran into some of my guys in the group. Joe Musgrove and David. Bogard was there as well, and Pat Merriweather. So those 3, they came up, but I was actually hanging out with some of the YouTube guys instead. The commissary freight transfer building, so I'm actually going to use both of these kits. And this is going to be the Tough Nut Garment Company. That was an actual company in Little Rock that made denim wear. That company is no longer in existence, but we're going to put it in Brinkley. Even though it was never in Brinkley, it was actually in Little Rock. The stamping plant, that is going to be Stuckey's syringes. So you can get stuck on Stuckey's, right? Or stuck by Stuckey's. So right now the Mississippi Central boxcar is servicing that. And then we're going to have Southern Packaging. So it's going to be, that hopper is going to be kind of, they basically receive loose grain. So this will be grain from the grain elevators. And then they'll bag it and then load it into probably the same boxcars that they empty from. And then, of course, you can see that we got the diamond here. So the double main going across, that's the Cotton Belt. This is the Rock Island, and it does come off the layout, but I will tell you, this switch is in a fixed position. There is no switch motor in there. It's actually soldered. All of my turnouts are all hand-built, diamonds, crossovers, double slips. There's a single slip back up Hickory Ridge. So any train comes on here, it's not even going to make it over here, and it will lose power anyway. So there is no scenario of it falling off the layout. You got an interlocking tower, and then we're going to have this building. So this was also done by my buddy John Goforth. We got the Brinkley Tool and Die, along with the M. Farley Shipping Company Limited. So as far as trains running on the layout, right now we got 3 jobs. You got the Cotton Belt Local that comes from staging, which is Jonesboro, comes here to Brinkley, switches out Wiener, Hickory Ridge, on the way to and on the way back as it's on its turn. And then we have the Rock Island Local that'll come in, switch all these industries and go back. And then, of course, the Hickory Ridge Industrial. All right. Eventually, we'll have more trains. To be the White River, which we're not there yet. And this is pretty much kind of where the line ends. It's acting more as storage right now. Here's the business car. So I still got some touch-up paint to do on it. Decals are on their way. So this is going to be known as the Traveler. So the Traveler, the Cotton Belt Traveler, was the president's car. It's currently in a little town called Risen, Arkansas, which is what the bottom staging of my layout is named. I will link a video, a very cool video to it that I did get to see. But this car is the first time that I've ever used true color paint. So SP Daylight Red, and then we have SP Daylight Orange. So the Cotton Belt was a subsidiary of Southern Pacific, and they used their paint colors. So, all right. And then eventually, the layout currently ends, but eventually we would make our way down to the Helix and come on the bottom level, which is just storage right now. And then of course I got a whole bunch of stuff in these boxes and whatnot, and totes. And a lot of that, y'all, is for sale. TrainFreakHobbies.com if you want that Magic Pan Bakeries. Or maybe you want this massive hotel, I don't remember what it's called. The Ambassador Hotel, Bachman Spectrum. That stuff you can't find anymore. TrainFreakHobbies.com. I also have soundtracks, RR circuits, and custom signaling systems. This is just all inventory that I still got to do stuff with. This is all my stuff. This is not for sale, y'all. And of course some supplies, like I got glue, super tree stuff there. I still got to make some trees. Even got Lego track. How about that? Okay, but we'll get to what I have been working. So on the bottom level, this is known as South Pine Bluff. So we're under Hickory Ridge. So there's Budweiser that we mentioned before. So this is South Pine Bluff. This is the reason why I have those buildings up on the top, is because I'm currently working on this yard. So this is a double track main. This is going to be the arrival track. And then if we come a little farther, holy crap, this is full. Well, I'm going to explain why it's full. Okay, so I told you we got one arrival. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 classification tracks. And then the last track is a pocket track, which right now it's got a whole bunch of reefers being pushed by a switcher. This is actually going to be a double person yard job, because you're going to have one person working this end of the yard. And so I can't go any further right now with track until I get a whole bunch of turnouts built, because further down is going to be the icing platform, and then the car shops and maintenance away storage. So I got to build a lot of turnouts, y'all. But the Cotton Belt has 6 manifest, mainline manifest trains, but only the northbounds get blocked and separated. The southbounds are hot express, so they never went through the yard. They might have some reefers attached to them, but they were never broken up, like they were hot shots. So the first 3 tracks, well, first track's arrival, but these tracks here are going to be for those 3 outbound trains. Then I'm going to have 2 Cotton Belt locals, a north local and a south local, which the south local just literally goes to staging and then it comes back. And then we'll have the Mopac. So there will be a Mopac yard. So this will be the Missouri Pacific's track. And then the Ashley Dreher Northern is going to have its own track too. So there'll be 2. So we got Monticello, North Little Rock, and then this will be Rosin, this will be Brinkley's, and then these 3 here are going to be for it'll be for Jonesboro, but like I said, it would be like if it was continuing to St. Louis. So I've got the yard done all the way to here. Because the same thing, I got to build a whole bunch of turnouts, and right now I've got all of that as storage, and I still have more bench work to build back there. So but one of the plans is I am going to have a hump yard here, and so it will hump to 7 tracks, and I've got it figured out. Well, actually it'll hump to 8 tracks because it will hump to the pocket, and then adjacent to the hump will be the caboose track. So this is so far where I'm at with the layout tour. Like I said, those buildings and stuff, they were all in the back corner. I had to get them out of the way. Not sure what I'm going to do with scenery back here as of yet, but I'm sure I'll figure something out. I mean, I tend to always do, so I might put maybe a pond or something back there and just kind of keep that out of the way. But yeah, I just got a couple of my passenger stuff just kind of sitting here just as a good placeholder for the time being. But eventually, you know, as we work our way back this way, Missouri Pacific Yard will be there, and then that will be the town of Pine Bluff under the White River, and then we'll have a big helix in the way. So if you're actually standing right here in the room, you're not even going to be able to see any of that because there will be a big old helix in the way. So that is kind of where I'm at as far as like a layout tour goes, layout update, goals. Definitely get that back there fixed. That's going to be one of the next goals that I try to get done, so that way I can actually run trains in and out of staging and then get staging refilled back up. And then of course below the monitor, that's the lower staging, that's going to be rising. Down here is going to be the roundhouse, engine facilities. There'll be another balloon loop down here too. And of course it's all dark, there's no lights or anything down here yet. I do have sockets from the previous layout. So, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at. 2026 goals is to get the rest of this scenic detailed, try to get signed off on my scenery AP, and then kick myself and try to get more track ballasted, painted. I need 50 linear feet of track painted and ballasted, and that way I can get my civil AP finished, and then hopefully work towards cars and buildings. And I'm still working on let's see, working on another cert. I can't remember what oh yeah, Chief Dispatcher. I'm still working on that. And there is the possibility that I could be working towards association elected. So we'll see. I'm not looking forward to that, but who knows. So other than that, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Just make sure, show me your support by hitting that thumbs up. That's the best way you can support me in moving forward with my channel. Show me that love. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, so that way you can see more of my progress and fill in the bell so that way you can be notified. Alright, so other than that, y'all be safe out there. I wish y'all a great one, and happy railroading.